Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Demo Day 2021. We will begin the event at 1:30 p.m. In the meantime, you can check out our startup booths at the booth area, which you can view by simply clicking on the booth button at the top menu bar. We have 17 exciting showcases at the booth by our startups in our program. At the booth, you can get to know more about their business and chat with them online, face to face. If you would like to find out more about the entrepreneurship programs, feel free to engage the SUSS booth on the site as well. If you prefer to network with the other attendees, head over to the networking lounge to meet other investors, mentors, startups, ecosystems enablers, and friends from SUSS. Simply join any table and start having conversations. A few of the startups pitching today are also exhibiting at the booth. Firstly, we have Cloud Intern, a software startup building smart chatbots to nurture leads. Secondly, we also have Etsy Bitsy, an edutech startup that aims to make learning easier everywhere. Thirdly, you can also catch SmartGen, a B2B adaptive learning system for educators to make providing personalized education easy and efficient. For my friends who are into travel, keep a lookout for the startup Trelly, which runs a peer-to-peer virtual tour marketplace that helps travelers join international virtual tours. We also have Upskill Cycle, an online platform that enables differently abled individuals to upskill in the technology industry, receive career-specific support from mentors, and get a job or gigs as a freelancer. Last but not least, we also have Crunch Cutlery, a startup addressing the problems of plastic waste and poor urban nutrition. Show us how we can have our spoons and eat it. Our event will be starting officially at 1:30 p.m., so do join us at the next session. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this session would be ending. It will be ending in 1 minute. So please join us at our opening speech and panel discussion for the next segment. See you there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Demo Day 2021. A very warm welcome to everyone tuning to watch this event. My name is Jason. It is my absolute pleasure to be your MC this afternoon. I hope all of you had a great time on Air Meet so far, interacting with our startups and fellow attendees. It is our first time using the Air Meet platform, and we hope it creates a conference-like atmosphere. We also seek your understanding if there are any tech issues that crop up. This afternoon, we have an exciting lineup of programs for you. You get to hear from our esteemed panelists at a panel discussion on startups and social good. Thereafter, we will have 6 of our startup pitch and take questions from a panel of investors. To kick off this afternoon's event, may I invite Dr. Derek Wang, General Manager of Alibaba Cloud Singapore, to deliver the opening address. Dr. Derek Wang, please.
Okay, thank you, Jason. This is Derek Wang. First, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining Alibaba Cloud and SUSS Demo Day 2021. It's my pleasure and honor to share some background about Alibaba Cloud Intelligence in Singapore. First, let me introduce myself. I'm the General Manager of Alibaba Cloud Singapore, looking after the Singapore region, including a lot of countries around Singapore. And how should I share my... how can I share my screen? I don't know. Okay, thank you. So you can see this building. This is XR Tower. This is our Alibaba Group office, and Alibaba Cloud is working in this building together with the other BU of Alibaba Group, such as Lazada, Tmall, Taobao, Alipay, and the financial. Yeah, thank you. Next. Maybe some of you has already know Alibaba Group, but Alibaba has a very extensive ecosystem. So we have more than 200 business units across the wholesale and retail, and some consumer service and the digital media and entertainment. For the retail and wholesale business, we have some C2C and B2C, such as Taobao, Tmall, and AlibabaCloud.com. And besides the online retail, such as e-commerce, we also have some offline retail in China. Right now, we have Hema, which is a food delivery service. And we also have Sun Art and Suning. These are building up our new retail business group. And we, besides the retail, we also have some consumer service and the digital media entertainment. So all this can build up our consumer-centric, so that we can deliver some food delivery and Ali Music and Fliggy for the OTA, and we also produce some content to serve the online consumers, such as Youku. This is a YouTube-like the online movie and video website. Under all this consumer-based service, we have some infrastructure such as logistic from the Cainiao, and we also have the Alimama, which is a digital marketing platform, so that we can provide an advertisement to the enterprises and to serve all the consumers. And under all this business unit, we also have some payment and the map service, such as Enter Financial and AMAP. And Alibaba Cloud is a technology infrastructure, technology arm to support all the business units for Alibaba Group. So we use big data and AI and some cloud computing to facilitate all the business units business growth. And so as for this year, fiscal year, Alibaba Group has already generated more than $1 trillion GME, and we also served over 900 million users globally. In China, we served over 780 million users. And outside of China, we have Lazada, which is very famous in Southeast Asia. And we also have AliExpress. We served over 180 million consumers outside China. So these are our current ecosystem to serve all the users globally. Okay, next page. Thank you. And then, and I will introduce Alibaba Group in Singapore. So in Singapore is a very important place for Alibaba Group. We have already set up our business units in Singapore for many years. Right now we have Alibaba Cloud, we have Taobao, Tmall, we have Fliggy, which is OTA. We have Enter Financial, including Alipay, and we also have Lazada and Cainiao. So for each business unit, we serve different users, but we build up on the total ecosystem together with the other BUs to serve the whole society and the users in Singapore and Southeast Asia. These are very important to Alibaba Group, and we see Singapore as our international headquarters to serve the overseas countries. So these are our some digital innovations and that the business units in Singapore. So we also welcome you can come to our office someday in XR Tower. Next page. Okay, here I would like to give you an example. So how can we serve the local community, and we collaborate with SUSS to facilitate some startups. So this is one High Lab. High Lab is his founder once SUSS student, and now he's a very happy customer to Alibaba Cloud. And High Lab is an award-winning providing innovative media technology such as the immersive technology such as VR and AR. It aims to reduce the human interactions from the digital innovation. And right now, High Lab has served more than 100 clients globally across different industries, and also collaborated with Alibaba Cloud. So we are providing the cutting-edge technology and some AI and big data resources to serve High Lab. So hopefully we can also help you to collaborate with you, can serve your customer in the future. Yeah, thank you. Next page. And this is a program we can support our startup companies. We call the Create at Alibaba Cloud Startup Program. And in this program, we can provide such as access to Alibaba's the whole range services. So we can use our ecosystem in different industry to support you, and we can also provide some Alibaba's training and some technology to enable or empower your application and your service. And we also providing the talent acceleration to educate, to invest your company. So these are what we can do. And besides this, we can also provide some free coupons or some cloud computing resources to serve your business. So you can browse our website for more details from www.alibabacloud.com/startup. So this is a very important program we aiming to the startup companies. So you can access this program to get more benefits in the future. And this is our honor. We can serve you, and we can see your growth in the future. Thank you. Next page. That's all. Thank you very much. And I look forward to collaborating with you in the future.
Well, thank you, Dr. Derek Wang. Next, may I invite Professor Chia Hon Man, Assistant Provost and Dean of the College of Lifelong and Experiential Learning at SUSS, to deliver the opening address. Prof. Chia, please.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for bringing me on board. First of all, just on behalf of the Singapore University of Social Sciences, let me extend a very warm welcome to our partner, Alibaba Cloud Singapore, judges, investors, mentors, startups, guests, and participants. Today represents an important point in your journey. It is the culmination of months, I guess, if not years, of hard work by all the startups that have walked this journey with us in the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Entrepreneurship Programme. Later this afternoon, as you already know, they will be pitching and demonstrating why their ideas are worthy of backing to some of the most established investors. The ideas to be presented are most interesting as they demonstrate not just the ingenuity of the startups, but quite importantly, also how responsive and adaptive they are working under the current challenging conditions. Yes, I'm afraid only one of the startups will be crowned winner of the Demo Day 2021. But more importantly, I believe each of the startup, even if you do not win today's event, should feel proud that you have garnered for yourself an invaluable life and learning experience. And remember that this is but only a start, as there will be other opportunities for you to grasp if you continue to work hard at it and to innovate. The unique aspect of this program is that it offers the successful students either for being able to attract funding for their startups or that the startup reaches an annual revenue of 250,000 Sing dollars, a 40 credit unit minor or certificate in entrepreneurship, which can be used as credit towards a degree program. This represents a recognition that success in earning a degree is not limited to primarily academic endeavors, but that real life success, which is reflected through the learning outcomes of the program, can similarly be recognized. Since we started this program in 2017, we have incubated a total of 68 startups, out of which more than 30% receive funding and have created more than 120 jobs for themselves and others. And apart from the very respectable success rate of these startups, what is perhaps more meaningful from a university's perspective is that we are seeing increasingly ideas that aim to do good in society, ideas that attempt to make a difference to the lives of others, which very much reflect the intent and ethos of the university. For instance, Bitsy is a startup working to make education more accessible in developing markets. They are working closely with schools in South Africa to pilot their ideas and have even secured a paying customer. Another startup, Crunch Cutlery, is working to reduce plastic waste while improving urban nutrition through their edible spoons. I've tasted one of them. It's not bad. And you can find their spoons in stores like an Archive Affair, Treat Sure, and Hatter Street Bakehouse and Cafe. They have recently reached a milestone of having sold 10,000 spoons, and you'll hear more from the founders of both startups shortly. They have shown us that it is possible to build a business despite the COVID-19 situation, as long as we seek opportunities to address market needs. Of course, this also takes a lot of perseverance, resilience, hard work, and the building of networks and friendships among like-minded counterparts. In fact, to continue on this journey, I would like to encourage those of you with the entrepreneurial ideas to pursue them while at school and tap on the various programs and resources that are available to develop, innovate, and establish your ideas. Let me end by taking the opportunity to thank our panelists and judges, without whom this event would not be possible. They are, in no particular order, Dr. Derek Wang, General Manager, Alibaba Cloud Singapore; Lin Ziyuan, Director, Business Development, Alibaba Cloud Singapore; Jeffrey Xia, Partner, Quest Ventures; Valerian Fauvel, Co-founder and Partner, Jumanji Studios; Steve Maluish, Venture Partner and Investor, Wavemaker Partners; and San Shin, Director, Digital Innovation, Tomasi. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Good luck to the startup. I wish this represents a meaningful and engaging learning experience for everyone. Have an enjoyable time. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Prof. Chia. Without further ado, we will kickstart the panel discussion on the topic Startups and Social Good. As we listen to the insights from the panel, I'm sure some of us may have burning questions. To ask a question, you can use the Q&A function that you can see at the right of your screen. You can also upvote the questions that you would like the panelists to address. To begin, I would like to invite Ms. Cynthia Chin, one of our SUSS Venture Builder trainees, to moderate the panel. Ms. Chin, take it away.
Thanks, Jason. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's panel discussion. My name is Cynthia, and I just graduated from SUSS last year. Right now, incubated in its Ventures Builders program. Our topic for today is on startups and social good. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question during the panel discussion, just type them into the Q&A box on your right screen. I'll try to bring them out during the panel. Otherwise, we'll also have a Q&A session at the end to address all your questions. Feel free to spam the emoji or write in the chat to make this an interactive session. Great. So let us get straight into the content. I would like to welcome our esteemed panelists for today. First up, we have Dr. Derek Wang, who is the Country Manager of Alibaba Cloud Singapore, leading teams to deliver success for Singapore customers in cloud computing and data intelligence. Prior to this, he was the Chief Cloud Architect of Alibaba Cloud International and led the global technical team distributed in several regions, including US, Europe, ASEAN, Australia, New Zealand, Middle East, North Africa, North Asia, and India. Next, we have Xiang Qin, who is the Director of Digital Innovation at Temasek, where they develop and foster innovation programs through various channels. He's also the creator of HyperX, one of the world's first accelerator focused on sustainability that provides a pipeline to take raw ideas all the way to Series A. And we also have Valerian, whose camera is not working today, but I'm sure he's no stranger to the SUSS student entrepreneur community. He's our entrepreneurship mentor and also the co-founder of Jumanji Studio. As a passionate environmentalist, entrepreneur, and VC in social impact, he has channeled most of his efforts in the past decades into solving social and environmental challenges in various places around Asia. He has also personally invested in 7 startups around various industries as an angel investor. So right now we have the first question to the panelists. How can Singapore promote the increased social good in startups, and have they been effective in their attempts thus far? Anyone would like to start first?
Okay, this is Derek Wang. So please allow me to to answer the question first. Okay, Alibaba Group maybe is the most innovative company, one of the most innovative company in the world. And we are leading a lot of innovation in China, such as in the new retail, new finance, and some new manufacturing. So we created a new business model in China, such as Hema. It's very special business model, and so far there is no very similar model in Singapore. So maybe in the future they have. So for Alibaba Cloud, we are providing some proven technologies used by Alibaba Groups, various business units, including retail, fintech, logistics, media, entertainment, and digital marketing. And the second, we are providing training and enablement, bringing our successful expertise in innovation to Singapore customers and partners. And we are also providing a lot of trainings in different community. And we also nurturing some talents with our technology training career together with partners such as SUSS. And then last, we are working with some local partners to customize, because I think Singapore is some different from China in terms of the user behaviors and some environments. So we are working with our partner to customize some technologies for enterprises to provide proven solutions within the local some behaviors and some local characters. So these are what we are doing, and very soon we are launch our new branding campaign. We call the Accelerate Digitalization, which can expect in Singapore very soon. So we are introduce what we are doing in the future in Singapore and the whole Southeast Asia. So this is some introduction. Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia.
How about Chang-Chin? Do you have anything to add?
No, thank you for, well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this this session. I'm really happy to join the student panels on this very important topic about social good and innovation. I think there's this is part of a broad shift, a long-term broad shift that we are seeing unfold before our eyes in slow motion. But I think it's for the better, and startups play a very important role in this. Traditionally, social good has been a tough nut to crack. There's always been, and we'll probably talk about it in the next few moments, challenges about making profits and sustaining a business model while at the same time doing social good or creating a social enterprise. But I do think things have changed, and we see that. I see that in the types of startups that come my way through whatever programs or talks I go through. And I also see it through the different generations. And I do think there's a generational component to this as well, with the younger generation growing up into a world that is different from, let's say, the generation I grew up in, and facing different kinds of challenges and factors. And that has melded their mindset differently. And I do think that they have a keen interest in trying to do something that's good for the benefit of the greater than for themselves. And so for these reasons, I think this is a growing area, and that the innovations that we see coming out of here will make some differences. Myself, I'm involved in helping out here. We've run, for example, some pre-accelerator programs. We did one a year and a half ago called The Start, which is about social good, and some of the ideas were really, really creative, let's say, and still running to this day, in fact. And we also at Temasek have a nonprofit arm called the Temasek Foundation, and they also get involved in social good and to some degree sustainability as well. The two are overlap with each other in many areas. And so I do see through those channels and programs the rising tide, should I say, in this area.
Right. So what are some of the trends that you see emerging in this sector in the coming months or years?
Was that for me?
Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
I just want to make sure. Yeah, no, coming trends. Well, I mean, there's clearly been an increase in interest in sustainability-related areas. Now, sustainability is a very broad topic, and it is a bonus and a negative at the same time. A bonus is it kind of brings everybody together from disparate backgrounds. The negative is sometimes you get a little confused or a little muddled. I do think that when the UN created the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, that it did help classify them. And in that classification, I do see some interest with social good overlapping for sustainable societies, inclusive finance, and medical and aging. And so this all overlaps quite a bit, and I'm seeing quite some interest in those areas as well.
I see. Now, maybe Valerian, you can just add, like, what's the key to managing a sustainable social enterprise, especially during volatile times like this? How can we balance between profit and purpose? Yeah.
Hi everyone. Sorry about the camera thing. It just wasn't possible today, but very much here and really glad to be. On your question of sort of keeping things together for a social enterprise or a environmental enterprise today, it's a thin line. It's always for social enterprises a challenge to pursue the mission, build an enterprise, build an organization, build a team, show people around that the business itself, the organization itself, is sustainable, and we will be able to grow and actually by growing, solving the issues that he wants to tackle in the first place. I don't think there's any more hardship with COVID for social enterprises than there is for any other business around. But certainly it's exciting to see that Singapore now is waking up to the environmental challenges that have been around for a while and have been knocking at our door for years now. It's very exciting to see that. It's very exciting to see panels like this where these topics are discussed. It's amazing to see so many entrepreneurs, deciding that they're going to spend the next years of their life building something that has this kind of purpose. And I guess the message I want to send is you guys need to continue, and it's possible to do it, and it's amazingly rewarding as well.
Right. Thanks, Valerian. I know that you have created like Barepack and Nice, right? So could you share with us how do you build a movement around your startups and impact ideas?
Right. I guess at some point, every entrepreneur, at least a B2C entrepreneur, wants to build a movement around what they around their solution, around their message. And it's an art. It's really not easy to do. To create a movement, inspire people to try out what you do and understand why you do it, adopt your solution. What I've seen work for us in when you're in sustainability is just carrying solid values, explaining really clearly what you're about, the problem you want to solve, and to be able to do that, you need to understand it yourself as entrepreneurs very well, and it's always challenging. So, but what I've seen work is, being honest about it, being very transparent about what you do, even being vulnerable sometimes. And it's all these things that, big companies today are struggle to do. And it's an opportunity for entrepreneurs to start and embrace this transparency to inspire movements. So yeah, for me, that's the key.
I see. I think we have one question from the audience. Yeah, this question is from Kelly for Changqin. Achieving social impact often takes a longer time and patient capital, and return usually takes longer than traditional startups. What is your best advice for startups to keep going?
My best advice is to drink a lot of orange juice in the morning and a lot of coffee in the afternoon.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C. And, this is not an easy thing to solve, right? And in fact, it really depends on who you're working with and what program you're working with. And from the startup founder point of view, you really need to make sure you're in alignment with whoever you're working with, whether it's an investor or some accelerator or incubation program. Don't just go for the money or the easy win just to make the next month or two work. That is not going to take you where you really want to go in the long run. What you need to do is really study the program and the people behind it and try and really get a sense of what are their motivations for doing what they're doing. If you can get to that, right? Go have coffee with them, have a Zoom chat these days with them, but interact with them. And through that, you'll be able to find their real motivation behind why they're doing what they're doing. The chances are if you find people who are genuinely motivated to help social good, social enterprise, sustainability, those types of people running their programs, even if they are for big investment companies or big firms and enterprises, because their desire is passion, that's genuine, it's real, they will help you. They will help you along the journey of navigating the elongated time frames, the patient capital that you mentioned, and all the volatility in the short term. Because what you're playing is a long game, not a short-term game, and you need long game thinkers along with you. So I guess that's the best advice I can give you, is just get to know who you're working with as best as you can.
Right. And how can we evaluate the social impact that a startup can make? Yeah.
So this is, these are really good points. They're actually something. So we just last week we actually created a manifesto as a statement on these topics. Actually, I'll put it in the chat here so people can see. But basically, the issue of trying to I'm sorry. The question was again. Can you remind
me? How to evaluate the social impact that a startup can make?
This is one of the challenges we have, because look, measuring impact is very important. What you're doing is not purely for investment or financial returns. However, there is a trap. If you try to measure your impact, the earlier you go, the less accurate your impact measuring is, because you still don't know at an embryonic early stage the success or any pivots your startup might make. So while it's very important to, as a habit and as part of your DNA, to bake in the let's try and see how we can measure social capital, nature capital, along with financial capital and all that, make sure you don't overgo and go into a rabbit hole where you really try to apply some very complex ways of measuring things that at the early stage is really not going to give you a high quality measurement. So it's more of a qualitative and habitual thing to do in the early stage than an accurate number that you can get as a startup. It becomes more important the further down you go, when you scale up and you really know what you're building and you've already pivoted a few times. Then the measurements that you can make actually are somewhat more accurate than when you're in the very early stages.
I see. Yep. I think in the audience we have another question for Changqin. Yeah, if we are working on UN SDG in affluent place like Singapore, are we not likely to be solving problem out of context and create misfit solution? How can we mitigate this risk?
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm taking a lot of air.
Yeah, anyone can feel free to jump in as well, like Valerian or
Very,
Dr.
very
Derek.
quick response to that.
Yeah.
It's okay because, with sustainability innovation, one of the important characteristics that I think everybody should understand is, yes, creating the innovation and the value is important, creating something new that has value. But the distribution and the contextualization of that new thing that you created around the world, around different societies, is super important when it comes to sustainability. We call it, the pumps and sinks, which is the plumbing of the water, is sometimes just as important as the water itself. And so with sustainability, the problem that is in Africa or Madagascar, a solution might come out of Belgium, it's okay. But the key is you need to be able to connect them.
Right. Dr. Derek or Valerian, do you have anything else to add in this?
All right, yeah, happy to. It's a really interesting question because in a way we have the same problem or we face the same reality that, when you build a startup to solve a problem in Singapore, then if it's a social startup, so serving, low-income populations here, it's a tiny market. And the basic needs that people need to cover here are completely different from what's in the region. So you end up being in a market that's just very, very small, and all these ideas of scaling, etc., doesn't really exist. So you need to think about your business in that way, or you need to take it to countries where the demographics are more similar to Singapore, which is probably some places in China. I don't think we can say Taiwan anymore as a country, but or Hong Kong, or then maybe the West. And it's the same for environmental issues, right? The pollution in all its forms is a problem of rich countries in reality. So when you start building a solution against that, it's more likely that you're going to have to implement it in richer countries. At the same time, I think there's a real opportunity for Singapore-based entrepreneurs to look at the challenges in the region, in less developed countries around, and to start working on tackling the problem for here, because for these countries, because there's a wealth of resources and talent here in Singapore that can be applied to solving those issues around Singapore.
Yeah,
And the needs are enormous, and the markets in that case.
Yeah, I think Jing Han from the audience asked a very valid question. He asked what criteria or how do you evaluate whether a problem is severe enough to warrant a solution and whether your solution is significant enough to solve the problem. So what kind of criteria? Or how do you know whether this problem is big enough to worth solving?
You need a lot of research. You need a lot of research first. I mean, do your homework for sure. And there's, on all these problems, I mean, there's not many solutions, but there's so much research being done already available that it's a good start. And then you just have to test it yourself and see, go talk to potential customers and see if it works, see if you're actually starting to solve issues. But there's no shortcut here. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah, I think Jing Han is still a student in CJC, Catholic Junior College. So you might want to consider joining the Ventures Builder program in any of the local U's. Yeah, to start. Yeah, keep a startup. So Max asked, what is the common model for social focused startups seeking funding for Singapore or targeting Asia? Yeah, the common model for social focused startups seeking funding. Anyone would like to take that?
Must be a hard question.
Yeah.
I don't know of a common model. I've seen I guess I've seen different incarnations of it. I guess the funding, it really comes in. Okay, so there's the traditional ones, which is government grants, nonprofit organizations giving grants and subsidies. These are through programs, right, that you can go and Google and find. And they function as grants. There's no equity exchange or anything like that. So that gives you an uplift. Then there's the, then there's the impact investing side, where there is some form of a return that the impact fund is looking to make, usually to sustain the fund itself in exchange for some, equity. But really, there's strong alignment on pursuing for impact and not just monetary gains. And that's like the impact fund side. And then you have what I'm seeing more development now, funds, not impact funds necessarily, but like even venture capitalists or family offices that have opened up in funds essentially and releasing capital for social good. And I think this is an area that's beginning to grow, and I think it's an area that I would ask entrepreneurs to explore and look at. I think this is a new form of capital that is increasing in growth, particularly around Asia, where you have a lot of, for example, very rich families in the different Southeast Asian nations, for example. Like, for example, in the Philippines, you have the Ayala family, and they do quite a lot of work, for example, with education and lifting up education for social good and programs and investments in that sense. So, yeah, I guess I could share that about it.
And the second question is, what are the type of go-to communities or ecosystem we can look into if we were to go down that route? Yeah. The go-to communities or ecosystem.
There are not so many here. I think if you start, for me, my advice to entrepreneurs, the social entrepreneurs here is, if you go for it, it's amazing, but you have to acknowledge that the ecosystems are weak, and in comparison to all the funding and support ecosystems for more traditional startups, especially in the tech space. So once you've acknowledged that, and if you still want to go for it, then my best advice is really focus on building a real business, not a startup, a real business. Don't go run after VCs that won't really understand yet, are not ready to process even what you're doing. Focus on building revenues. Focus on building, a good old business that stands on its 2 feet. Because the rest of the ecosystem is not going to help you the same way your friends in tech startups are going to be.
Right. Yeah. So for Derek, Alibaba Cloud has placed a strong emphasis on innovations. So how has Alibaba Cloud digital innovation power local businesses?
Okay, thank you. Actually, Alibaba Cloud, 20 years ago, Alibaba Group is also a very small startup company. Jack Ma and the other 17 co-founders just founded Alibaba Group at the very beginning, just aiming to solve the retail problems, to build up on the e-commerce. And gradually, we found in China, the people do lack of trust. So for the e-commerce platform, there are some problems. So you need to solve for the trust. So Alipay is a third-party payment platform. So for the buyers, they pay money to Alipay first. Then the sellers to deliver merchandise to buyer. Then if the buyer is confirmed, the money will transfer to buyer. And so this is how Alipay established. And gradually, for the consumer users, they do lack of patience. So they would like to get the merchandise can be delivered just in 1 day or 2 days. So we just, according to this requirement, we build up our Thailand logistics. So this is how can we do the innovation rapidly. So we don't just aim to do the innovation itself, but we are aiming to solve the problem in a real business. But in a real business, you are finding some innovation scenario. So in China, Alibaba Group right now has already built up on the new retail, new finance, and the new logistics. So all these are aiming to solve different problems But all this needed technology innovation empowered by Alibaba Group. So in Singapore, we also bring this proven technology in different industries, e-commerce, fintech, logistics, and media, which has verified in China. But in Singapore, we also need some partners to work together with us to do the customization, to help the whole industries. How can we do the innovation together? So I think this is also the startup companies' opportunity in the future, because they understand the local society and the local community much more than Alibaba itself. So, but they also need some technology can help them to quickly roll out in Singapore or even South Asia. So this is what can we do together with our startup companies. But then the innovation itself must be hidden in some problems. If there is a problem, there is some opportunity and there is some innovation. So this is what can we do together with our partners and staffs in Singapore.
Oh, nice. When there's a problem, there's an opportunity for innovation. Very good line. Yeah. So, one last question from the audience. For stakeholders, government and private sector alike, how do we weed out organizations that are genuinely concerned about making social impact from those that are simply there for personal gain or personal agenda? Yeah, it's open to all the panelists.
How do you, was it the question, how do you weed them out?
Yeah, weed out organizations.
Okay, sounds like a problem. Maybe there's innovation for that one too, huh?
Yeah, the audience can listen up.
Where's the startup that weeds it out automatically? I think for me, I would just go back to what I said earlier. Rather than just read the material and website, and they can print anything. It's really about meeting the people and looking at the people online. Maybe they have a social footprint, and getting to know the people behind it. That's really the best way, because you can print and write things, but you really won't know. It's like when you hire a new person, you don't really know after one interview or resume. You don't really know. You have to kind of get to know them a little bit. And unfortunately, right now, I think that's still the best way. That or other people who can recommend, right? So your close person you trust says that this entity is, really for real. That would be the way.
How about for Dr. Derek and Valerian? Any tips to weed out organizations?
I would say trust the crowd.
Trust the crowd.
Trust the crowd. We always through our innovations on crowdfunding campaigns and let people vote for it. So yeah, that for me would be
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that one too. The crowd auto self-regulates.
Yeah.
If there's enough people.
Let the crowd voice be heard. Okay. Right. Thank you, panelists and everyone, for taking the time out to join our panel discussion today. So I hope you have some great takeaways like I did. You may continue to connect with Dr. Derek, Shangshin, and Valerian on LinkedIn for any further questions. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, sorry, thank you, panelists. Shall we take a photo to commemorate this, please? All right, look at the camera. Okay, on the count of 3, 2, 1, and smile. Okay, fantastic. We got a picture. Thank you once again.
Okay.
To all our esteemed panelists for the wonderful discussion. I'm sure this has left all of us with something meaningful to take away. All right. So right now we'll be moving straight to hear the exciting pitches by the startups from the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Entrepreneurship Programme. See you at our next session. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Demo Day 2021. We thank you so much for waiting for a bit. All right, this is the moment that most of us have been waiting for. Before the startups begin their pitch to the investors, I would like to first introduce the panel of judges. They are Mr. Lin Zhiyuan, Director of Business Development, Alibaba Cloud Singapore; Mr. Valerian Fauvel, co-founder of Jumanji Studio; Mr. Jeffrey Xia, partner, Asia Fund, Quest Ventures. Last but not least, we have Mr. Steve Melwish, co-founder of Property Guru and CEO or founder of Planet Rise. Hello, judges. Can I get a wave, please? Thank you all so much. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this year we have a total of 6 startups who will be presenting their pitches to the judges. Each startup has 5 minutes to present, followed by a 7-minute Q&A session by the judges. The top 3 teams that can impress the judges will walk away with prizes from Alibaba Cloud, and 1 team will be crowned the winner of Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Entrepreneurship Programme Demo Day 2021. Without further ado, let the pitches begin. Our first startup enables teachers to assess students learning remotely and involve parents in their child's learning experience. Please welcome Etsy Bitsy.
Hi, I'm Dee, the co-founder of EtsyBitsy, an offline-first remote learning tool where our mission is to make learning easier everywhere. Because we believe that the most important indicator of a student's success is their future desire to learn. To talk about the problem in our current education system, let me use an amateur cooking show as an analogy, where contestants are given the same ingredients and recipe and are told to recreate a dish. It's about how well they're able to follow instructions that judges their ability to create an amazing dish. But this does not tell us who the next MasterChef will be. To make things more exciting, cooking shows give contestants the same ingredients but ask them to create whatever they want. And this is where we see the real potential of the contestants, because they can use their imagination to create dishes where the outcomes can vary. But we're in a situation right now where students are required to follow a recipe to get the same answer. And this was due to sound economic theory during industrialization, where we needed workers for factories and offices. There was a standardized way of doing things to measure work against a set of outputs. But this is not so relevant for the future. As our world faces some radical changes, the 21st century workplace requires imagination and innovation. So we have to ask ourselves, is the skill of following instructions preparing our learners for the future workforce? And the simple answer is no. We're moving towards a 4th industrial revolution, where skills like problem solving, collaboration, and lifelong innovation are needed by our next generation of innovators. We've interviewed many teachers from developing countries, and during the COVID-19 lockdown, they scrambled to find solutions for home-based learning. But some students just could not learn remotely. Some schools printed out homeworks for parents to collect, while others sent PDF questions to the parents. However, it was difficult to edit PDF documents on the phone, and teachers could not provide their feedback to the students. Even with multiple choice questions, ask yourself, how many times have you done an MCQ, not known the answer to, but still got it correct? Did you actually learn anything? But here's the thing, teachers are still trying to find new ways of teaching, like using WhatsApp. But because of the limited interactions they have with students, they could not create lessons for students with different levels of understanding. This is where EtsyBitsy comes in. Through our teacher-led innovation model, we allow teachers to create questions to build upon the teachings in the classroom, and students can answer these questions creatively. Our solution works on existing smartphone technology and does not require additional resources for the school. Teachers can now create lessons based on the students' strengths, and where current e-learning solutions don't work in poor and unstable internet connectivity, EtsyBitsy does. Through a Bitsy, teachers can create voice-based questions for learners. They can send these questions through a link to the parents who can use it to discuss with their child. Parents can then record their child's response using a voice recording and send it back to the teacher. Now teachers can assess every single student's thought process and give them their feedback. We've already begun our pilot with 3 schools in South Africa, with one of them being Steve Jobs' Avalon School, where Business Insider has named them as one of the most innovative schools in the world. We've also started our pilot with an educational NGO that run classes in over 30 different schools in South Africa alone. We're currently charging $100 for 6 months for schools to run a pilot for their whole school. By 2025, the global population that needs basic education will be over 1 billion. And here's the thing, over 70% of them will be from developing countries, and we're targeting the 400 million that will be living in Africa. Etsy Bitsy's founder, Edwin, and our product lead, Huang Kai, have both worked in Chinese tech companies, while I've been a serial entrepreneur for 2 years. Our tech lead, Hao, has been the CTO for a Vietnamese startup, while our UI UX designer, Khan, and our front-end developer, Giao, have both worked in tech startups in Vietnam as a tech team. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Stay safe and stay curious.
Alright, thank you HTBC for the pitch. Now we'll move on to the 7 minutes Q&A session. HTBC, are you here with us?
Hey guys, yep.
Alright, fantastic. Alright, let us hear from the judges. Any judge would like to get the ball rolling?
I can start. Deepak, great presentation. I like the energy level on that as well. Question for me is, I didn't really understand the link of remote learning to South Africa.
Sorry, could you repeat that? I think it got cut off in the center.
I didn't understand the leap from home-based learning, remote learning, to South Africa.
Oh, okay. So just to clarify, I think you're asking why we're heading towards South Africa, is it?
Yeah, can you not hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now. So the reason why we went to South Africa was because we were actually, call it a stroke of luck. So we were actually introduced to someone in Rwanda first, and we were actually looking to target developing markets. So we did a call with the person, and then we realized that there was actually a huge problem in Africa, where they were actually a very underserved market in terms of edtech solutions. And what happened then was there were 2 markets, which the first biggest market in Africa is Nigeria, the second is South Africa. But we were kind of warned against to go into Nigeria, and that's the reason why we actually targeted South Africa. And talking to the teachers and the schools over there, we realized that many edtech solutions like Kahoot, even Zoom, right? It doesn't work there for remote learning because of their poor and unstable internet connectivity, and that's the reason why we started to target South Africa.
All right. One question. Well, first of all, it's a very refreshing take on education. So quite unusual and amazing. But that leads me to the question, which is, what are the typical pushback you get from teachers and school owners on this kind of completely new approach, especially in the kind of countries where you guys want to go?
All right, I'll take that question, Dee.
Thanks for the question, Valerian. I think the question you're asking is, what is the most difficult thing, that's the challenges that we're facing, right?
Right, especially in convincing teachers and school owners.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I think I was saying this. I think number one is language barrier. South Africa alone, they speak like over 50 languages. And then the next biggest challenge, I think, for us would probably be the mentality of the owner or the principal of the school. It's sad to say that education really still needs a huge improvement there, because some of the principal, or director, they still want to do things that are offline because it's a community thing. They want their face to be seen, and so that they can go around and see them giving gift to the kids. So the mentality is very hard to switch for them. The most extreme case is they don't believe COVID exists. They don't believe that there's a need for kids to stay at home to learn. Kids can still come to school, they can still do a large gathering. So I think that was the biggest challenges we face over there, that some of them just don't see COVID as a real threat.
Edwin, can you hear me?
Yes, Jeffrey, I can hear you.
Okay, often when it comes to a formal pedagogy of learning, there's always check-in systems when the teachers are interacting with students, right? If you are doing this, it almost becomes a one-to-one versus a one-to-many. How do you deal with situations where the teaching classes are more than of substantial sizes?
Okay, so right now our pilot, allow me to share my screen if it's possible. Right now our pilot is one-to-many, or rather one-to-one, makes it feel like. So can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So right now, that's how it's working. Right now, we actually work with different schools and parents and organization. We sent our MVP, our very early MVP, was through WhatsApp. We send them the question, we send them the text, and then they reply us with a voice message. So teachers know individually who's trying to message them. What's the response for each child? Now, to solve the problem of one-to-many, we will see whether there's a need and there's demand for this. It could be gamified in a way that, every kid have to answer their question, and when everyone answer that question in a group format, they will be able to listen to their classmates' answer. So something like that can be done. I think right now we want to focus more on 1:1 because a lot of kids are stuck at home. As you can see on the picture, on the left is actually one of the foster child with a guardian. They don't know how to keep the learning going for them. And same thing on the right, she's a single mom, and then she has to take care of the kid. She don't know how to keep the lesson going for them when they're stuck at home. And a basic smartphone is all they have. So what this do actually is gives a 1 + 1 bigger than 2 effect, which means because a lot of them, in these developing areas that we're targeting, the parents themselves are not very educated too. So when they listen to the instruction from the teacher, for example, even simple things like how to wash your hands, right? The parents learn how to do that as well. So you educate not just the kid, but the parent first, and the parent can bring the kids through this process even when they're stuck at home. So those are just the few case studies that we do. For now, we definitely want to explore one-to-many because our focus is how the kids learn, not what the kids learn. That's why it's a teacher-led innovation. They decide what the kids learn, and we will mostly serve as a software tool.
I got one more question for you, Edwin. How do you measure success for
Right now, the teachers, the benefits that they're looking for is how to get learning continuing for them. The success for teachers is definitely, I think, for one, is they want to be able to hear what the kids say. So, for example, we are working with one of the literacy organization. Reading and writing is one. The ability to speak and pronounce, that's something that they can't do at scale. This is a demo that we've created. If you like, you can try. You can use your phone, scan on it, and you will know what we mean by a voice-based learning method. Success metric for the teachers right now is students are responding to them, and they actually get to hear their students. So that's the part that they want. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
That's good.
Thank you.
I think just to add on to Edwin's answer, I think the success measure for the teachers, from what they've told us, is when the students are able to apply what they've learned in class into a real life scenario. So they will find that as a success because that's what they're trying to get the students to apply what they've learned in the real world.
And if you could give one sort of proof that something you've proven that your methodology works, what would that be?
Sorry, again, Valerie?
If you could share one proof of the fact that your methodology works, what would that be?
I would say, for the start, I think it would be the literacy example. We actually have the voice recording of the kid trying to pronounce the word fish, because one of the example that the kid actually have to try and experience is to actually be able to say the word fish or to spell certain words. So they can actually experience it, and then the teacher actually hear their pronunciation and know what went wrong. so they can reply. Of course, that will be on the teacher's dashboard. They will be able to reply and advise on the parent on where the kid can improve when it comes to pronunciation. Another thing is actually, if you guys get into this, you will see that you can actually ask open-ended questions. For example, like how happy your kid are, what are they feeling today. Kids give all sorts of very creative and fun answers. And actually, I think that is very helpful for their learning journey, because you don't want kids to just tell you what you want to hear. You want them to tell you how they really feel and be able to express and articulate what's in their mind. I think that's the part that really spells success for us.
All right, thank you so much, Etsy. Time's up already. Sorry. Okay, right. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, this startup aims to address the problems of plastic waste and poor urban nutrition with a single product. Please welcome Crunch Cutlery.
Hi, I'm Anna, and I'm the co-founder of Crunch Cutlery. We're the inventors of delicious and nutritious cutlery that is great for you and the environment. So why are we here? We're here because we see a gap in the market. We see many people being motivated to start being sustainable and take out nutrition practices, but they don't necessarily sustain those practices. And here's the reason why. Because it is fundamentally inconvenient. Let's take a look at a survey done by Prudential and by NEA. We can see that the top reasons why people give up great practices is because they find it inconvenient, they lack the time, and they lack the self-motivation to sustain. And this is a problem because we have spent millions of dollars trying to educate people to adopt better lifestyles in sustainability and nutrition. If we don't succeed, we risk billions of dollars in economic costs from plastic waste and poor urban nutrition. Now together, both plastic waste pollution and poor urban nutrition represent about $9.6 billion in damage to the ASEAN region alone. And this number is on an exponential growth. It is expected to triple unless we take urgent action. So Crunch Cutlery has come up with a very innovative and simple solution that focuses on convenience. We want to make it simple for people to adopt while giving them an exciting and fun gourmet experience. How does Crunch Cutlery work? Well, we work by redefining the dining experience of people. Right now, most people understand cutleries as an accessory to a meal. You use it to have your meal and you don't interact with it afterwards. How about, instead of doing that, the cutlery becomes part of the meal itself. So you use it like you would a regular cutlery, and when you're done, you eat it up. We also focus a lot on taste and nutrition. So in addition to being form functional, it is also delicious. It currently comes in 6 different flavors, and it is also nutritious because it is fortified with fiber and vitamins. And the best part is when you use our cutlery, you don't need to do any washing up. You don't need to use plastic cutlery, so there's no plastic waste being generated. So Crunch Cutlery focuses on a very simple solution and asking people to just make one single change. We're not asking you to give up your ice cream. Please continue. We're just asking you to give up the plastic spoon and use our Crunch Cutlery instead. So why here and why now? Because we see a clear trend towards restricting and even outright banning single-use plastics around the world. So we have just categorized, the movement started out in Europe and Canada, and it's clearly moving towards the Southeast Asian region. At the same time, we see a growth in fortified nutrition around the world. In Asia Pacific alone, we are looking at a 7.3% CAGR of growth. So Crunch Cutlery has done a very interesting market sizing. We've decided to combine both the biodegradable cutlery space and the fortified nutrition to do our market sizing. And we expect the early market size within the next 5 years to be about $4 billion globally. Within the region which we choose to play, which is the Asia-Oceanic, we estimate it to be about 800 million. And we are confident of capturing about 6.5% of the market.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean, co-founder of Crunch Cutlery. And since launch, we have managed to generate about $10,000 worth of sales on a minimal advertising budget across both online and offline platforms. We are glad to have been able to achieve high traction for our brand due to the strong media support from many major media agencies, which allow us to reach out to our target consumers. So what we have right now is an MVP, and we are working on the next generations of spoons, mainly the 2-star products. Little Crunch, it's a product that we plan to penetrate into the dessert space with. Desserts such as acai, ice cream, and yogurt, with its cute and aesthetic design, is something that our consumers would appreciate. Moving on will be the Breakfast Crunch. It's going to be a stirrer that's going to be used in many breakfast meals, mainly to be used with coffee and any other beverages, and we will give the consumers that boost in energy to start the day well. So Crunch Cutlery is of course focused on expansion as well in 2022 and beyond. Our initial goal is to penetrate into the Australian market, moving up North Asia into Hong Kong and Taiwan, and lastly into Korea and Japan as well. And with that, I shall end my presentation, and we are open to any questions you might have. Thank you.
Alright, thank you Crunch Cutlery for the exciting pitch. Now we'll move on to the 7 minutes Q&A session. Crunch Cutlery, are you here with us?
Yeah.
Oh yes, you guys are. Alright. Now over to the judges. Your 7 minutes starts now.
Okay, I have a question on the product, guys. I've never seen it actually. How strong is it? So a lot of the single-use cutlery, a lot of it is knives and forks as well, which require a little bit more strength to handle the food. So do you think you would be able at some point to have your eatable alternative also be as strong as a normal knife, for instance?
Oh, well, it would definitely not be as tough as a normal knife. It's quite interesting you mentioned that because we do have a study on the break test, like the strength of our product. And the scientific testing has showed that our product has the same strength as a small plastic spoon. So, the ones that they give out at like ice cream stores that they used to give out as a small ice cream store, we have the same strength as that. It's just that ours is more brittle because it's a biscuit format. So in terms of usability as a cutlery, yes. But, if you're going to cut steak with it, probably not. Because at the end of the day, we have to consider the edibility factor. It is the key selling point of our product that at the end of your meal, you can eat your cutlery.
Okay. And how much more expensive, if at all, it is compared to a plastic,
It is, so that's a question I get all the time. It's actually priced more as a food item than a cutlery because our mission is really to add it as part of your meal experience. So right now our cutleries are going for $120 to $150. Our business partners actually have been very supportive. So when we started out, the recommended selling price we gave was $120 per cutlery. And we have businesses that go, that's kind of low. And they just went out and sold at $150, and it does sell at $150. We actually have a partner that's selling it about $175 per unit, and it works as well.
Anna and Sean, could you talk a little bit about the go-to-market strategy? How you're going to get this out across the whole of Asia?
I'll leave Sean to talk about Singapore, and then I'll talk about the overseas expansion.
Yeah, so for Singapore-wise, we are working on mainly towards the dessert space. So we are working with a lot of F&B vendors to provide the edible spoons as an add-on for many of their desserts. So meaning, you go to an ice cream store today, you choose your ice cream, and at the end of the whole purchasing process, they are given the option of getting this edible spoon, which will enhance their whole meal experience. And we are also working with a lot of sustainability-related stores like Treasure that sell sustainability-related items. So this is mainly our approach for the Singapore market. And then for overseas, Anna?
So our expansion plan starts in 2022 and goes up to 2025. We want to start off going to the Australian market because the concept of eating healthy, being very sustainable is the strongest in the Asia Oceanic region. So our first three cities are actually Melbourne, Sydney, and Perth. And that's also where we can actually grow our business and build up our cash flows. Next, we want to move up north because at the end of the day, our product is it's more addressed at a first world problem of, wanting the convenience of the lifestyle at the same time, not wanting to be sustainable at the same time. So Hong Kong and Taiwan is actually
less worried about.
Sorry,
I was less worried about the market. You talked about that in the video. It's more around how you get the cutlery out to the outlets. And I guess specifically, now I know it's optional. I guess what's the adoption? So if people are given a choice, how many percent?
Sean, do you want to talk about the acai affair conversion?
Yeah. So right now our conversion rates are at about 20%. So out of every 10, 2 of them get it. But of course, we are also working towards coming up with a fixed model that comes in the meal itself. So we are also in talks with some of these vendors to come up with a complete meal. So like a set meal that comes with the edible solution. Of course, this is something that we are still in the midst of discussion with many of the vendors.
So I think to sum it up, Steve, our distribution strategy is mostly B2B. Yeah.
Sean, this is Jeff again.
Hi, Jeff.
Good to meet you. Where is the B2C strategy?
Oh,
The
retail
strategy, B2C strategy. Perhaps you can share with us a bit more. I think that's
Do you want to take it or?
Yeah, I think B2B is under yours, so yeah.
So the way we split sales is that Sean handles the B2B client facing and I do more of the B2B to C strategy. So B2B is our core growth strategy. It's where we can get the fastest growth and traction in market, but we are also very mindful of the C because at the end of the day, we do need to sell out capacity. So in terms of the C strategy, what we're trying to do is to build a lifestyle brand. A lot of our campaign or future campaigns are actually focused on being very making sustainability fashionable, making sustainability, almost like a cool and hip thing. So it's almost transformational in terms of lifestyle building. And there are things that we're doing in the background, such as, creating carry cases, creating, signature crunch, creating our signature product that embodies our value as a company. In that aspect, I came from a trade marketing background, so I understood the importance of the harmony between B2B and B2C. So even though, Sean is growing the B2B space, we are still focused on communicating to the end customer what our values are, who we stand for as a brand, and why you should take Crunch Cutlery.
What about, I'm just going to ask one more question before I dominate this panel, this questioning. How about house brands? And we talked about, you were talking about working with people and going to bundling.
You mean going to the grocery channel?
I think as part of your go-to-market strategy, how are you thinking about if you're going to be not about yourself and letting people have choices and you're going to work with brands, then how are you going to work with them for house brands if they want to bring you as part of to do a specific tranches of production for them?
Okay. So actually, we have started discussions with specialty ice cream. So I think the reason why we go for that channel first is because our product is still a very blue ocean product, especially in the ASEAN region. So, in terms of education, we do need to get people introduced to the idea first before we go for a more mass market strategy. In terms of collaboration, if you imagine like a specialty ice cream store, they are moving towards sustainable and biodegradable cups or holders. In some cases, they have chocolate holders, so the entire cup is edible as well. So what we do is we provide the spoon as part of the packaging, and that can be delivered as a whole.
How is where do you produce and what's your margin on this? And is there some is it your own thing that you produce and you design, or is it something you just buy somewhere and distribute?
Well, if you can find it, I'd like to know as well. So to answer your question, it is produced entirely in Singapore. We produce it out of Cloud Kitchen space at the moment. We are very happy to say we finally secured a food factory space. So we are transitioning into a larger scale B2B production. Right now, our cost is a little bit high because Cloud Kitchens are expensive to rent by the day. And also, we are not purchasing our ingredients in bulk. So nutrition, for example, we use a lot of psyllium husk. It's a very expensive product, and we are not able to purchase like 100 kg of it. Moving forward, as we scale into the tens and thousands of units of production, we will be able to bring down our cost much more. So right now, it's pretty high.
But it's below or above the 1.2, 1.5?
Oh, of course, below. Yeah.
Alright, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, time's up. Thank you so much once again to Crunch Cutlery. We need to move on with the session. Thank you so much. Yeah. Alright. Next, this startup aims to build smart chatbots to nurture leads. Let us welcome Cloud Intern.
Good afternoon, panelists and peers. My name is Adam, and I'm happy to share more about Cloud Intern, a smart chatbot platform. How many messages do you receive per day from friends, family, colleagues Probably a good amount. A more interesting question would be how many times do you forget to reply to your messages or completely left them on read with the intent of getting back to them later? Possibly a few. However, for a business, a few missed messages from a customer can result in a loss of sale or a unpleasant brand experience. With businesses getting many messages every day, it is labor intensive to track their customer interaction across platforms, and it is time consuming to follow up on every single customer interaction. According to research conducted by Sage, an accounting enterprise, it is estimated that Singapore businesses lose $8.7 billion of productive business time due to admin tasking every year. Cloud interns are modular smart chatbots with the purpose of automating customer interactions and the subsequent follow-up processes. Cloud intern chatbots, like many other chatbot solutions in the market, can boost customer engagement level, deliver 24/7 customer support, and drive the conversion of sales. Our little magic is that cloud interns are powered by pre-trained natural language processing modules. Our chatbot can better understand intent, context, and execute more complex instructions. Cloud interns are able to provide higher accuracy response and carry out suitable automation processes as well. How we do this is by feeding the modules a large amount of data from a particular field and use machine learning tools for it to process this data. Each module has a specialization in a particular field and is personalized as interns, hence cloud interns. For example, Caleb, our financial advisory bot, is trained to answer questions like, what are life-saving plans or are insurance plans expensive? As of today, only Caleb has been built, trained, and sold, and I look forward to the rest of the gang seeing the light of day really soon. So, how does a business use Cloud Intern? We first tailor our pre-made solution to fit the business needs. We then install Cloud Intern chatbot onto the business website and messaging platforms. Whenever a visitor visits the business via this channel, the Cloud Intern will automatically reply to these interactions and send the conversation to a centralized inbox. Lastly, the Cloud Intern executes follow-up automation processes. These processes can be as simple as adding customer information to the business CRM system, or perhaps more complex, such as tagging the visitor based on the conversation they had and then assigning them to a specific email campaign. At the end of the day, the business can save labor resources as customer interaction is mostly automated. They spend less time keeping track of messages across platforms as they are provided with a centralized inbox, and reduce the time taken for follow-up actions as their Cloud Intern can automate these processes. Our current core target market are local SMEs that have substantial customer interactions, like e-commerce websites and agencies. A secondary market is to target direct to consultants in the finance, property, and law professions. In the past couple of years, Singapore has a growing SME population, and as of 2019, Singapore has about 270,000 SMEs. Wow, Singapore. Of the bunch, 40,000 of them belong to industries we identify as having substantial customer interactions and can benefit from Cloud Intern. We currently run on a monthly basic $200 subscription, and that Cloud Intern can be deployed as fast as 3 working days. As a B2B firm, we will be engaging in traditional B2B outreach such as mailing and digital ads, and I'm particularly interested in exploring the possibility of SME applying for subsidy via the Enterprise Development Grant and eventually the PSG grant. Lastly, we will be providing incentives such as reduced subscription fees for early adopters. The chatbot field is competitive. Chatbot firms typically either afford do-it-yourself services for a monthly fee or sell specialized customized solutions that can be really expensive. I believe there's currently a market gap for affordable, highly customized chatbots. Cloud Intern will attempt to fill in this market gap as our pre-trained modules significantly lower development costs that will be passed on to our SME customers. We are also looking to integrate more applications and tools popular with local SME to serve them better as well. Cloud Intern was not started in mind to be the next revolutionary disruptive startup or the next billion-dollar idea, but instead to provide SME businesses a simple solution to a rather annoying and painful problem. It is not a perfect product yet, and I'm looking to refine it with our early adopters. Currently, we have 3 people in the team. My name is Adam. I am doing development with another full-time developer, and we have a co-founder leading the sales and business development. Thank you for the kind attention, panelists and peers. Once again, my name is Adam, and I will try my best to answer any queries you might have for me today.
All right, thank you, Cloud Intern. Judges, gentle reminder to fill in the scores for the startups. All right, now we'll move on to the 7 minutes Q&A session. Cloud Intern, are you here with us? Oh, yes,
Yeah,
you are
I
here.
am.
All right. 7 minutes, over to the judges. Your time starts now.
Hi Adam, Ziyuan here. I just have a
Hello.
question. How are you collecting sufficient data points at this moment to train your Caleb?
That's a very good question. So currently the way that we actually obtain data is that we actually buy like textbooks and data sets. For example, for Caleb, our financial advisory board, we bought textbooks from the Singapore College of Insurance. And because in this data sets, you have question answers. So we feed everything into our NLP, into Google Dialogflow, and we use our own engines and our own scripts to kind of build out the data, the AI modules. So it's a lot of buying of data. Recently, when we started having our customers on board, we have permission to loan their data to fit into our NLP bot, our modules, and to further train them for accuracy. But for now, most of our data is bought, and we buy them data and then we actually feed it into the bot. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thanks.
Adam, can you talk a little bit about the sales to onboarding process?
So let me walk through down the journey. So when I first started Cloud Intern, it was meant to just be a chatbot agency, right? We found a way where we can quickly deploy out AI modules, and then we can actually complement them with existing infrastructure or platform. And slowly I realized that there is an opportunity for me to actually create pre-made modules. And what we can do is that these modules are already pre-trained. For example, a insurance bot or a property bot, right? We feed them all the information about about insurance and property, and we can resell them, right, with a little bit of customization to fit the client or the business need. So how the sale process goes is that we first identify the clients first choose which bot they will want to purchase, and then based on that they will be able to make fine-tune adjustments, like for example, all the contact information, the business information, the call to actions, as well as they will also provide us with any subsequent automation they would like to perform. For example, I'm business A, I use Zoho CRM for my customer relationship management, and I use MailChimp for my email. So can you connect the bot to send all of my leads to Zoho CRM, and afterwards qualify them for me to put it into my mailing list. So we get their requirements. We spend 3 days to just tweak a couple of buttons on our end, and then we deploy the chatbot onto their platforms. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
Adam, this is Jeff. Adam, this is Jeff. I have a question for you. When you make a pitch to your go-to market, do you replace people, or are you asking people? Are you asking interns to be replaced, or are you asking for them to have a quicker onboarding?
Right. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're trying to say is, am I positioning it as a way to replace human labor? Is that the question?
Not necessarily. It depends on your go-to market. So I was just want to know what do you want to say first to whichever the industry.
Okay, so I think for the first portion is that we want to solve the problem of companies getting bombarded with a lot of questions and not having all the time to accurately reply to all of them. So the first, for our chatbots, we actually provide all of our SME our customers a centralized inbox. So what this allows them to do is that whatever channels their messages come from, they go into a centralized inbox, whether it's from Facebook Messenger, whether it's from their website, whether it's from other channels. They go into a centralized inbox, and from there the bot would communicate with their clients, with their prospects, and then do up the subsequent automation. And all of this can be tracked in a centralized inbox. There can be humans to come in whenever there are any issues, whenever the bot's facing some issues, or when they realize that the customer is getting a little bit angry, right? Like, I don't want to talk to a chatbot anymore. So we do have sentiment analysis to go and alert a human operator. So the whole purpose of it is to try and minimize how many man hours are actually spent into this doing this specific task. So the whole purpose of Cloud Intern is not to replace labor. It's meant to complement labor, right, and to make it more efficient. So instead of having 2 managers and 5 interns, you probably just need 2 managers and a Cloud Intern. I hope that answers your question.
more than that. Thank you.
Hi, Adam. Can you tell us what's the logic behind pricing this at $200 a month?
Right. So that's a good question, and I think that goes back to where we're trying to position ourselves. So there are a lot of chatbot solutions in the market, right? There are like many chat. You know, there are two spectrums to it. One of them, they are doing a SaaS model where you build the chatbot yourself and you pay them maybe like $20 a month to up to like a couple $100 a month. And the other spectrum is fully customized chatbot where an agency comes down, sit down with you, codes everything from scratch, do up the modules, do up everything, and then they charge you a couple of like 10, 20, 30 grand. So the market that we're trying to be in is where we are able to provide a more customizable experience, a smarter chatbot for a price that is within reasonable reach for SMEs. So we did our calculations and we did to make sure that we are able to make healthy margins, and we found out that $200 a month for a basic bot, which includes a pre-made module along with its customization, it's actually pretty affordable and sustainable for us. I think from our experience with our early on board, like our early customers, they are actually okay to pay that amount. They see the value in this, and some of them even want to add like further customizations. They started asking us if we can merge our different modules together, right? So instead of just individual modules like that, we can merge the data together. And something that's particularly more interesting for us is that a lot of agencies are reaching out asking whether we can do APIs for them, because they already have the chatbot platforms, they have all the stuff, they want to just integrate it into their existing solution. So we are in the process of developing an API for that. So that even if it's another agency, they will still be able, and they have their own platform, they will still be able to communicate with our AI modules. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks.
Adam, to get to any kind of sizable revenues, you need to get tens of thousands of SMEs. How do you plan?
So as mentioned, we're going for like a managed service model, right, where there's still some man hours involved on our side to do the customization. So currently we are trying to automate that as well, so to make it a completely SaaS do it yourself experience, where you come in, you actually fill in the forms, and we actually do the back end work, the customization automatically. And I think that's really important for our scaling, because right now when a customer comes to us, sure, we spend like a day to customize the bot, but that requires still man hours, right? So if 10 customers come to us on the same day, there's only so much that we can do. We either have to increase our manpower or and that's not really very scalable. So we are in the process of making this journey completely automated, maybe with a few manual checks. And from there, we can try and position it as a SaaS software. We can start running ads on a larger scale, on a larger global scale. And yeah, that's how we plan to scale.
All right, thank you so much, Cloud Intern. Once again, we got to move on. Thank you so much. Right, ladies and gentlemen, next up is an edtech startup that helps to streamline educators' work processes and personalize education based on data and AI-enabled technology. Please welcome Smart.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Glenn from SmartGen. SmartGen is a B2B adaptive learning system for the educators to achieve personalized education in an easy and efficient manner through the data and AI technology that we built. We understand that conventional way of providing personalized education is manual and inefficient. To scale offline education business while maintaining good teaching quality is extremely challenging. There is no efficient way to diagnose and analyze student strength and weakness easily, or even worse, it is highly dependent on educators' experience and memory. What we are trying to do here is an adaptive learning system for the educators to assess students' learning progress and diagnose students' weakness and learning gaps, which makes providing personalized education simple and efficient in a scalable manner. SmartGen is a unique integrated edutech solutions that combine content, learning, and performance management system all in one place. We have a pool of centralized question bank for the users to subscribe to, created and curated by our in-house education team. Combining with the personalized worksheet generator, users can just by choosing a few criteria on the worksheet generator, customize the worksheets easily to the students and send it out to the student as an online quiz. And most importantly, after the student attempted the worksheets, it will be auto-marked by the system. We have a performance management system that is capturing all the data of the students and analyze real-time what's the student's strength and weakness while they are attempting the online quiz. And most importantly, there is a recommendation engine at the back end to capture, to give recommendation to the users what is the actionable to take to further improve the student's strength and weakness. SmartGen is trying to redefine total education. During COVID lockdown period, we understand educators moved to online tuition via Zoom or Google Classroom solutions. Only they realized that it is not the full solutions for education. There is a big part that's missing, which is the assessment. Gen assessment comes in to fill the gap. From the worksheet generator to the question bank that we provide, analytics to the recommendation engine. From there, we expanded to Gen Academy, which is a digital content library for the educators to upload their own personal content, curriculum, bite-sized recorded videos, recorded lessons into the system. They not only can use it for in-house purpose, but can also further monetize it to a bigger crowd in the online space. The question here is, how do we achieve personalized education business at ease? The answer is through technology, through the AI, machine learning, and data technology that we built in-house. From content digitization to categorization, auto-grading of the worksheets, recommendation engine, to performance evaluation of the student's strength and weakness. In terms of business model, SmartGen is a B2B solutions for the learning centers, educational institution, and the schools. We charge a customization and subscription fee to the users. They subscribe to our integrated solutions as well as the content that we supply. On the other hand, in the B2B2C model, we work very closely with our clients to put their content in our system, and we not only can be used in-house, but can also be used to further monetize through a bigger market. We take a cut of the revenue generated in the platform. In the highly competitive learning management system space, we are very proud to be an integrated solutions that aims to automate personalized education. From the content that we provide to the content management system that allows educators to put in their own unique content and intellectual property, to the advanced technology that we built in-house, we are proud to be differentiated from most of the learning management system out there in the market. We are already trusted by more than 100 schools and learning centers in Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Thailand, and Philippines. And we are very excited to work with the right partners in Indonesia to explore the market together. Thank you so much, and let's speak more.
All right, thank you, SmartGen, for the insightful pitch. Now we'll be moving on to the 7 minutes Q&A session. SmartGen, are you here with? Oh, yes, you are. All right. 7 minutes over to the judges. Your time starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello. All right. Can you? It's a bit hard to understand exactly what you do, to be honest. But I'm curious. Can you explain it the way you would if I was a school? Because you've convinced over 100. How would you just try to sell me?
All right. The biggest problem that we realized during the circuit breaker or during the COVID lockdown period is that educators want to move to online. I would say majority of our clients are actually from learning center space, private education space. They are not prepared. They are not well prepared. The simplest solution is that they get on to Zoom to teach, only they realize that assessment is not covered. So when they want to prepare worksheets or assessment to the students, they can't do it easily. And Google Classroom doesn't provide the content that they need. In the past, what they do is that they go to the bookstore to buy assessment book and print it out for the students to do in the classroom. So SmartGen came in just nice to fill in the gap. We already have a question bank for the educators to subscribe to. Of course, that combined with our worksheet generator that is able to generate out a personalized worksheet very easily, send it out to the students in the digital version, and automated by the system and being analyzed by the system as well. So when we pitch to the schools or when we pitch to the learning centers, we always tell them that we already have a question bank, and and the more people that we speak to, we realize that there's a need for them to put their own private content. That's where we actually work with larger learning centers or schools to digitize their content and put it into the system and add values through the adaptive learning engine behind to automate recommendation.
Thanks. Much clearer now.
Thank you.
Glenn, this is Jeff. I got a question on exam question IP. You know, many famous or exceptional tuition centers, I think they are founded on having top secret exam questions that they hold very dear to themselves.
Yep.
And if they use your system, right, how do you ensure that those questions and where the IP stays, or if there's any leakage?
Yeah, actually, initially when we started, the idea was very simple. We just want to create a question bank with a worksheet generator to be used by everyone. But then we realized that people are asking, I want to have my IP to be in your system and I want it to be protected. So then we are very clear that after working a while with the educators, is that we have a public pool of questions that can be used by everyone, that's created by us, that's our IP. And on the other hand, we have the private question bank that solely be stored in their dedicated database that cannot be shared with anyone. So that's how we actually control on protecting of their IP.
I have a question here, Glenn. For the providers that are providing their own content, their own question bank, how are you providing the adaptive recommendations and all the AI on top of that? Do you come up with the characteristics, the heuristics, or do you leave to those people? Because in my opinion, I feel that sometimes subject matter experts may not be the best educators. So I'm wondering where you as a platform comes in to help out on this piece.
Yep. Good questions. So in order for our adaptive learning engine to work well, right, we have to make sure the definition of the knowledge point has to be very, very granular, so that in the so that when we onboard private content from other customers, our definition of the knowledge point is good enough to cover most of what they think is right. So from there, actually, they can actually, if they're agreeable with what we are doing, they can actually use our knowledge point that is already defined, and the machine learning model works just immediately. If they have their own way to look at the knowledge point, or if they prefer to have their unique definition of the knowledge point, we allows them to customize it. So depends on whether they want to port back to our machine learning model. We can port back also. We are going to do a bridging between their knowledge point versus our knowledge point. Otherwise, we are working with other learning centers, is that they have their own way of defining the knowledge point. They want to have their own machine learning model to train. So that's they want to have their own machine learning model to give recommendation, and that's what we are coming into the customized solutions already. In terms of business model, we have a very subscription-based SaaS model for educators who are probably like home tutors or small learning centers. When it comes to a bigger schools, they have their own content, their demand will be different, and we are ready to provide the kind of customized solutions for them.
Glenn, can you talk a little bit about the average revenue per school, and also your go-to-market, how you actually go from growing from 100 schools beyond?
The fact is, the stats that I showed you just now is quite skewed because, in fact, when we started, we didn't approach a big learning centers. We were only approaching a small learning center from a scale of 50 to 200 students. So each of the learning centers, basically, we charge a monthly subscription fee based on the number of users. So eventually, once our product is more set up, we actually we are currently working with a learning center chain who has thousands of users in this region, and from there actually we are of course, when it comes to volume, we have to lower down the unit price per student, and yeah. So if you ask me the average price, currently we are charging between $2 to $5 per student per month. That is benchmarked against e-assessment solution in the markets. We raise up the price compared to the learning management system, which is about $1 per student per month, because we are providing additional feature compared to those learning management system. But of course, Google Classroom is free. We also understand our unique selling point and how we redesign the whole learning management system, how we integrate the content management and performance management. So we are actually setting slightly higher compared to a learning management system.
Glenn, I have a question for you. How big is your team, especially your go-to-market team? And how do you separate your go-to-market?
Currently, we have a team of 10 plus packs seated in several countries. Majority of the resources is actually spent on the product development as well as content development. And we were very patient in the past 1 year during the COVID lockdown period to acquire clients. In fact, we didn't spend much on the marketing dollars to acquire the clients. We believe in working with the right clients to really go through the whole journey from productivity enhancement, digitization to monetization of their IP. That's the journey that we have really gone through in the past 1 year, and we are more ready to serve any customers who are coming from different scales.
Glenn, how do you think about long-term defensibility of your?
Definitely will be the data and AI technology that we are building. I would say, although we believe that AI is something very crucial in the education field, because we believe that the adoption of such kind of technology is still very low and a lot of opportunity for us to go in. But we observe that actually, if you were to sell AI solutions right now into the market, it may not be so sustainable for our business to grow. So actually, our go-to-market strategy is that we basically created something very unique to onboard the user first, helping with the productivity and digitization. Slowly, we actually work with them to work out the AI solutions that eventually can add values to their business. So eventually, once we have the trust from our customers with the product and the data, we are able to grow together with the clients to go to the C market together.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Smart Jen. Unfortunately, we have to stop the Q&A session here. Thank you so much. All right, judges, a gentle reminder to fill in your scores for the startups that have presented at TBC, Crunch Cutlery, Cloud Intern, and also Smart Jen. Thank you so much.
Jason, when do you want us to do that? Because we're in the pitches non-stop, right? And we're trying to give these guys a bit of justice to do their pitch, so we can actually give them the time and the I guess the attention.
Sorry, pardon. The audio was a bit choppy, so I couldn't catch what you were saying.
We don't have time to fill in.
Yeah, I mean, when we're supposed to do this, because we were listening to pitches, right?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. How about this? Let us move forward with our fifth startup. Then I will get back to you with an answer after I consult my team.
Yeah, we'll just do it afterwards, can we?
Yeah.
Can we do afterwards?
Yeah, we're doing it again, usually. Thank you, Jason.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Let us move on to our fifth startup, which aims to help the differently abled to upskill in the technology industry, receive career-specific support from mentors, and obtain a job or gigs as a freelancer. Let us welcome Upskill Cycle.
Hi, my name is Max. I represent Upskill Cycle. We are an impact-driven startup focusing on helping people with disabilities and able individuals. So able individuals that we're targeting are junior developers or people who are seeking a tech career change. PWDs, they are either physically challenged or adults who are high functioning autism. These are validation that we've done across 6 months, training 23 PWDs and 3 able individuals. 2 of the PWDs are able to be paid placed in a paid project. And these are testimonial at the bottom. So while doing our validation, we found that 3 problems. One is that a lot of tech jobs require a minimum of 2 years. 2, the applicants who are applying for these tech jobs, it may not be trained in skills or knowledge. 3 is PWDs who are feeling that they are not socially included in the society. So our solution is we are looking at building a platform to help in terms of mentoring and training and placing these students in real-world projects. So these are market sizing for them. In terms of Singapore, we are looking at 15,000 with an average spending of about 2,000. And for Asia, we are looking at 12 million PWD market with an average spending of about $500. So these are revenue source through either through the online program or through the membership site. Our products are focused mostly in terms of mentorship subscription, which they can seek help from actual developers that is in the industry. 2, training programs that focus on training PWDs with the purpose to become remote workers. Lastly, in terms of job and gig matching. So our secret sauce is that through mentoring, is that we are drawing from a large pool of developers. And second is our training program, which is focused on for PWDs. And the third one is real-world projects that we gain through partnerships with various organizations or companies. This is our competitors. We are focusing on helping in terms of developer personal development and the level inclusiveness. On the left is the code mentors who are doing mentoring. On the bottom left are training institutions. On the bottom right are people or companies who are providing PWD service. For us, we stand on the right, focusing on the developer's whole life cycle and also focus on the PWDs. This is my team, myself, the founder, Yash, my co-founder, and Jaren. So our competitive advantage is that we have a strong network across ASEAN, the world, and we can draw upon 36,000 developers. Second is we have actually have been in multiple mentoring programs like Junior Dev SG and SIT, and all of us, in terms of our our founding team, are trainers by trade in terms of entrepreneurship or technology. So these are strategies that you're looking at in terms of 10, 100, and 1,000. The 10 will be focused on exposure workshops and word of mouth. 100 will be more towards blog or video series, weekly newsletters, and a 12-week training program. And when we reach our 1,000 for either our companies or PWDs, will be through our partnerships with community partners and also landing pages focused on PWDs. So lastly, I would like to thank everyone for listening on this pitch, and we are seeking investors or partners who are looking at making a difference to PWDs and helping the tech careers and reducing the gap. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you and hearing you all in the Q&A session. See you. Bye.
All right, thank you so much, Upskill Cycle, for the insightful pitch. Now, let us move on to the 7 minutes Q&A session. Upskill Cycle, are you here with us? Oh, yes, you are.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Hello. All right. Okay, 7 minutes. Over to the judges. Your time starts now.
Hi guys, I had 2 questions. One was around the business model, how you make money, and then the second thing is that your USP is based on having 36,000 developers. Can you explain a little bit about how you have that network and access?
Okay, so Jerry, you wanted to talk about the business model side?
Yeah, so in terms of the business model, we have already been working with many companies over the past 5 years in development projects, software development projects, and what we want to do to help PWDs is we help to increase their salaries from a normal $10 per hour to $30 per hour. So that's 3 times the amount. And we take 20% for project management of all these projects through the GigWorks and through our portal itself. We enable collaborations between both junior developers who are able and those aspiring developers who are PWDs. Yeah.
Yeah, so regarding in terms of tapping about the 36,000, it's actually through my own personal blog and the platform and community partners that I'm with. I'm personally is the vice president for Python User Group and also the management team or leadership team for Junior Dev Singapore. So that is in the local part. For the global side, because of my contribution or the things I write, I have a lot of followers. We have a following about 36,000 combined in dev.to. It's a developer social platform kind of thing. So that's why we are able to draw that amount of people. Yeah.
Max and Jaren, right? Have you ever had any consideration registering this as a charity versus a social enterprise?
Not entirely, because I think the social enterprise space, ultimately we want, while we are providing impact, so we believe our startup could be impact driven while we still make money, because we want to make enough money so that we can give more back to the PWDs for them to increase their salaries, build their confidence. We have also worked with many partners, and I think training these PWDs, equipping them with the tech skills is just one part. Providing them the confidence through doing more commercial projects is another. But really, lastly, with providing employment through the portal itself, there's many things that our PWDs are, in a way, in coming months will be equipped with, because we have a lot of companies we work with in the AI, ML space, a lot of data cleaning, data labeling work to be done. And these are gigs that really have, committed onto our platform. One of which is a Chinese company. It's called Wonder Tech. They are their number one AI, emotional AI company in China, wondertalk.com.cn. They have 3.5 million data sets to process. So that's already more than half of Singapore. And we are, in a way, getting our PWDs to work on them. And because Singapore, of course, we're starting off Singapore because in terms of language-wise, English and Chinese, Mandarin itself, the PWDs are able to communicate in those languages, and that helps give the PWDs here an advantage to do so. And many other things, like even locally, we're working with AI Singapore for data labeling projects, as well as more training development initiatives with SIT. Right, so those are a couple of things that we have, and I think we can make money at the same time creating impact. Yeah, so impact-driven startup. Yeah.
Okay, hi guys. A quick question, a longer one. In concrete terms, who pays you? I didn't understand that. And then, what would it take for you to have, say, $1 million in revenue?
Yeah. So who pays us? The clients themselves. Because we are essentially, our portal is being automated for project management, right? We have human intervention for sure, because we are working with PWDs in terms of project deliverables. But the portal itself, through us, we take 20% for whatever fees that or budget that has from the client side. So if, let's say, they come in with $10,000 budget, we take out 20% of that, which is $2,000, and the remaining $8,000 will go to the PWDs and the project, gig workers. Yeah. So hope that clarifies.
Yeah, clear now. And so what would it take for you to reach $1 million in revenue?
So just on WonderTech alone, we have 3.5 million data sets. We range between $1 to $2 for proper cleaning, right? US dollars. And that is really more than enough to help us to reach that more than $1 million in revenue. Right. Yeah. So I guess to answer your question, we need the volume, and of course the number of PWDs we have. We are still building on. We're trying to train them, equip them with the necessary skills. Data cleaning, data labeling work takes up majority of the time for most AI developers. Right. Those in the tech background, you will know. Therefore, I think our PWDs is here to complement that, as well as helping them to increase their salaries. We really hope that at least they are valued, even though they are people with disabilities. But in this day and age, everyone is remote now. We should all treat them as equal. They may be people with disabilities, but can still function as well or even better than fully able individuals.
And you mentioned that the PWDs tend to not be happy in their work usually. What do you do for them to be happy when they?
So, of course, first thing is remote. They're really happy with that. Many of them we have targeting it. They are people with disabilities, mobility issues. So maybe traveling to and fro is not convenient for them. They often, late for work, or we work a couple of startups, social enterprises we work with, Pop Chai Thai, etc. Going out a physical restaurant, etc. You may pose a challenge for them to be on time for work at the same time. If also medical appointments. So I think if everything is remote now, it helps them to be on equal level playing field as able individuals. Yeah, so I think that time flexibility for them to have a peace of mind to know that they will still perform as well as the able individuals behind the screens and be equipped with the necessary skill set and treat of being equal. So they build their self-confidence. I think that's the key thing. Yeah, they're happier that way. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Upskill Cycle. I gotta stop this Q&A session because we're running out of time. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, rounding off the pitches today, this startup is building a peer-to-peer virtual tour marketplace that helps savvy travelers who love exploring the world to join international virtual tours. Let us welcome Trelly.
Hi everyone, I'm Kylie. I'm the front-end CEO of Trelly. Trelly is a virtual tour marketplace. So before I started on Trelly, I was a hotel manager for 7 years in a budget hotel. And I was fortunate enough to be able to interact with guests from different parts of the world. And one similarity that I noticed was we all would love to explore and learn more about the world and understand our different culture. But the problem we all face is we have limited time, money, and energy. And right now, actually, because of COVID-19, it made things even worse. Right now, we just couldn't even travel. And COVID-19 indeed has changed a lot of our habits in terms of how we interact with the world, be it now and the future. So therefore, introducing Trelly. Trelly is a two-sided virtual tour marketplace that allows you to instantly explore different parts of the world at the comfort of your own home. So you can choose to become a host or a guest on our platform. Being a host, simply just with your smartphone, you can just be your own boss while embarking on a new social media career just by live streaming your world to international guests, showing them around all the special and fun and cool places while sharing a local perspective and having a conversation with your international guests. And you can make a living out of it. How cool is that? If not, you can be a guest on our platform. So simply with your iPad or with your iPad, you can actually explore different parts of the world easily by interacting with an overseas host. You can navigate him, asking questions, and understand from a local's perspective. And some other use cases includes researching for a place and then preview places before traveling. It can be an educational tour, or you can even do some shopping. So as a guest, you can choose to join a paid or a free tour, and you can give them donations along the way if they do a great job. If not, you can be a host. The more guests you attract on your tour, the more you get to earn. So in terms of revenue model, for 50,000 paid tours and on average being $20 per tour, we can potentially make a 1 million revenue. For 100,000 donations, $1 on average, that will give us 100,000 revenue as well. So some future revenue streams includes advertisement placement and shopping features for our guests. So in terms of our competitors analysis, we differentiate ourselves with our competitors by having a highly personalized platform and by having more Asian tours compared to our competitors like Airbnb Online Experience and Amazon Explore. They are using Zoom for their virtual tours, or they provide more Western tours for their Western guests. So our go-to market strategies includes B2G, B2G is we already formed Singapore and Macau partnership with the tourism boards, and B2B2C to acquire our hosts. Recently, we just did a KOL recruitment drive that attracted 100 over participants, and we also partnered with some travel vloggers and foreigner KOLs, and also we signed some tour guide associations partnership with associations from Macau and China, and coming up like Singapore and Hong Kong as well. And in terms of B2B2C to attract guests, we have some corporate clients as well. So some of our competitive advantages includes number one, the perfect timing. Because of the global pandemic and upcoming 5G makes this much more future-proof. And secondly, we have a global scale. It's easy for us to have an international presence, and we're part of the sharing economy. We create jobs for our hosts. And thirdly, we are disrupting the industry by having a personalized experience. It's a new form of destination marketing, and we have a new form of data insights. So a bit more about me. So I have more than 7 years of hospitality industry and more than 4 years startup coach experience. And right now I'm also a vice chairman in a hotel association, Girls in Tech, and also a startup club. So that keeps me very involved with the tourism and also the startup scene. So in terms of the team, we have experience and expertise in product growth, community success, and tech in the travel and live streaming industry. And in terms of advisors, we have an international team with expertise in startups and influencer marketing. So since 2020, we started developing our app and web app, and until right now, we had received grants, loans, won some competitions, and struck some partnerships. We are part of some incubator programs, and we have 620,000 funded to date. So right now, we are looking for 500,000 seed investment to help us reach 50,000 paid tours to have a 1 million revenue. So moving forward, we hope that you can join us to help us inspire global citizenship by bridging our cultural differences on Trali. Thank you. I'm Kylie, representing Trali again.
All right. Thank you, Trelly, for the exciting pitch. Now we'll move on to the final 7 minutes Q&A session. I believe, she's here with us. All right, 7 minutes. There you go. Over to you, judges. Time starts now.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Any questions for Trali? Yeah.
Go, Steve. Okay, I'll start. I'm curious today how many participants you have on your travel marketplace.
So right now we have hosts and guests. So for hosts, we have 50 over hosts right now, and we are still having more signups. But to be honest, we are very selective with who we want to be a host. So we are not accepting everyone. In terms of guests, we have about few hundred on our waiting list, and we are still building the list, and we are planning to launch by next month. And this is our app, by the way. So you can see like different virtual tours happening around the world. So if you want to click into Macau, then like you can see different photos and videos about the trip. Then you can see like how much is the trip, and then like how long, what's the language, who is that host, and then like what is the itinerary, and then you can make the purchase. So and then you can read reviews about the host and see other tours happening. So we have an app and web app and website.
Kylie, how are you thinking about the supply and demand? I guess it's a two-sided marketplace, and I guess the challenge is always managing the two. That's the first question. And secondly, specifically, how do you go about acquiring the...
Yep. So in terms of the two-sided marketplace, right now we are focusing on the host first. So we are doing training for our hosts, and we are also like selecting who we want to be on our platform, mainly based on the language. So in Macau alone, we have Cantonese, Mandarin, and English speaking hosts. So therefore, that will help us to tackle guests who are familiar with those languages as well. And we are targeting the North American and European market for guests. But our first market will be Portugal and UK, because Macau was a colony of Portugal in the past. So there is some linkages and it is easier to build the connection to Portugal. And then like our next stop, Hong Kong and Singapore, they are both a colony of UK as well. So there's also affiliation with UK. So with UK and Portugal for our guest market, then we will venture other parts of the North American and European market. And in terms of targeting them, so right now our current competitors are Airbnb Online Experience and Amazon Explore. So we are targeting existing users who are already a user of that platform. So that will help us to minimize our CAC costs. So because this is a very new industry, so even for them it is very new. It's less than 1 year only.
Kylie, this is Jeff. I want to ask you, beyond B2G, right? How do you see your go-to-market strategies change as the situation of travel gets better or worse? And how will you shift your approach towards working with governments, towards working with bigger organizations? That's my first question. Second question, I'm still trying to understand, why don't you do a B2C strategy?
Yes, actually we have B2G, B2B, and B2C as well. So to answer your first question, B2G. So right now, because we also can, let's say like for Macau government, we can help them to attract Chinese over to Macau through doing this destination marketing advertisement for them. And then even after COVID-19, because COVID-19 actually changed our habits a lot, so we believe that these virtual tours are here to stay. And then B2G is just they can help us to do a lot of marketing. And then we mentioned we have B2B, and for B2C we are directly also targeting our guests as well. And for hosts, we are also reaching out to them directly. So right now all those that sign up with us, they participated in an event. And yeah, so if I can share my screen. So recently we did this campaign in Macau. So we have a very big, a very huge sign-up rate because we partner with KOL trainers, and we also have other entertainment companies, and we offer free on-the-job training for them, and we teach them how to be a KOL and so on. So therefore, like we really have a lot of people who are interested to be our hosts. So this is B2C directly, yeah. And also like for guests, we are also like preparing our 30 seconds YouTube advertisement that we will be advertising on YouTube soon.
How many user interviews have you run? I mean, for guests, and I'm curious, what are the key reasons why people want to do that?
Yeah, so we did a lot of user interviews with our hosts and guests. For guests particularly, maybe we did at least like 50 user interviews. So some of the key problems that they have is like, so even before COVID-19, so because of visa problems, we can't travel to some places, or they don't have enough time, money, or energy, or there are just some places that are too expensive to travel, that are too far away, or some places that they like, but they will not spend the time or money to travel there. And yeah, just as a form of entertainment or spend time with their family. Yeah. So there are a lot of different use cases.
Kylie, besides yourself, how big is your sales team?
Sales team or the whole team?
And how many of you are there?
The whole team itself, so we have me, we have the product guy, growth guy, and then like 3 developers, and then we have some ad hoc like marketing, or we have customer success and ops, and some other freelance or part-time people, about 10 of us right now.
And Kylie, if I understand it correctly, the business model is to charge $20 per tour, is that right? To the guests?
So on average, it can be about $20, but we leave it for the host to have the flexibility. Like if they have a higher following and their guests are willing to pay a higher price, they can, price it higher. But on average, based on Airbnb and Amazon, that's the average price right now, about $20. So that is a paid tour, but we also have free tours where it is free and then guests can pay through donations, which is also quite a very popular thing right now in China in terms of the live streaming platforms.
And of the $20, oh, sorry, Steve.
Yeah, same question.
Of the $20, how much are you giving back to the host?
80%. We take 20%.
All right, thank you so much, Trelly. We have come to the end of the final Q&A session. Thank you so much. Yay, thank you. With that, we
Jason, I
have...
have just a last
Oh,
question for Kylie. If you I think when you include a tour in future, maybe you should do a tour of Block 71 because we get a lot of requests from the Singapore government to do Block 71 tours, and I'll do it for free. So maybe we push it to you. We can charge the Singapore government some money. Yeah, just
Yes, definitely.
And you could be this live streaming tour guide, Jeff.
I think I can do one with Steve. Steve is excellent. You know, you can see.
No.
Host number 51, Jeffrey.
Yes, please be our host.
Thank you, Kylie. Great stuff.
Right, thank you so much, Kylie. Okay, with that, we have come to the end of all of our pitches. Let's take a 5 minutes break, but please stay on this session and come back by 3:59. When we come back, we will reveal the winner of the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Demo Day 2021. Please enjoy some background music. See you in 5 minutes.
DJ, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Judges, just checking. Are we ready with the scores? If you're ready, would you mind giving me a thumbs up? Okay, there's one thumbs up. There's two thumbs up. Mr. Steve? This. One more minute. All right. And let's give our judges some time because they are diligently writing feedback for all our startups and all the scores. Yes. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right now is where we do a bit of rah-rah. So who do you think will win? You can type your responses in. Mr. Steve, we ready with the scores? All right, thank you so much. No one's responding. Oh yeah, we have Crunch. Yes, any other company? SmartGen. Ooh. All right. Okay, seems like all the scores are in. Let me continue with our program. Ladies and gentlemen, before we announce the winners, we would like to present a certificate to 6 startups who have graduated from the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Entrepreneurship Programme. In order to pass the program, students need to secure funding or achieve $250,000 annual revenue for their startups. They have worked tirelessly in the program to develop their businesses. This year, we have 6 startups graduating from the program. They are Adam Isan, founder of Cloud Intern Company. He has achieved the $30,000 Startup SG Founder Grant. Yay! Virtual clap. Okay, next up we have Lam Ka-yi and Sean Neal, co-founders of Crunch Cutlery. They have achieved the $50,000 Startup SG Founder Grant. Would you clap again? And thirdly, we have Divak and Ho Yuan-yi, co-founders of Etsy Bitsy. They have achieved the $50,000 Startup SG Founder Grant. Clap again! Woo! And fourth, we have Janine Ko Jiahui, founder of Nido News. She has achieved the $30,000 Startup SG Founder Grant. Fantastic! And next up, we have Ng Seok Kun and Chia Chun Ling, co-founders of Gift Inc. They have achieved the $30,000 Startup SG Founder Grant. And last but not least, we have Ko Kang Liang, founder of Swappy. He has achieved the $30,000 Startup SG Founder Grant. Yay! Alright, now let us take a look at a video put together featuring all our graduates. Please enjoy. Alright, congratulations once again to all our graduates. We wish you all the best. Ladies and gentlemen, the results are in. It is my pleasure to announce the winners for the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Demo Day 2021. Coming in third place, virtual drum rolls please, we have Upskill Cycle! Yeah, congratulations! You have won yourself $2,000 US dollars worth of Alibaba Cloud credits and a gift. Could we invite the founders to turn on their camera and take photos with the judges? All right. Get ready, huh? Okay. Is everyone in?
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
On the count of 3, 2, 1, smile. Nice. We got that picture. All right. Thank you all so much. Now, next up, coming in second place, we have Double Face Trelly. Congratulations, you have won yourself $5,000 US dollars worth of Alibaba credits and a gift. Once again, could we invite the founders to turn on the camera so that we can get a photo together? Yeah, only Kylie here. Okay, when I turn off first, sorry. Okay, on the count of 3, 2, 1, smile! Fantastic, we got that. Thank you, Kylie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the grand champion of the 2021 Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Online Demo Day. The winner is none other than girls please. Crunch Gallery! Yeah, congratulations! You have won yourself $10,000 worth of Alibaba Cloud credits and a game. We invite the founder to turn on the camera and take the photos with the judges. Yes. Sorry, I turned off first. All right, on the count of 3, 2, 1, smile! Yay! Fantastic! All right, thank you, judges. Sorry.
That's 8,000. That's
Oh, it's getting a bit echoey. All right, thank you all, judges. Okay, congratulations once again to all winners and thank you all startups for the competition. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the Alibaba Cloud-SUSS Entrepreneurship Programme Demo Day 2021. We would like to express our gratitude once again to Alibaba Cloud for making this program possible. We would also like to thank our esteemed panelists and judges for taking their time out this afternoon. Virtual clap, please. Thank you so much, judges. Yeah.
Jason, can we take a judge's photo, please?
Oh, sure. All right. Yeah, let me off my camera. Okay. On the count of 3, 2, 1.
Can you take away the presentation, please?
Can we take away the presentation, please? Oh, yes. Sorry, again, huh? Okay, 3, 2. I think they are trying to adjust. Oh, yes. Yeah, they try to make everyone the face nicer, lah. Okay.
I think the guys when the EMIC guys were doing the fundraising, this is one of the features they were talking about, but I've yet to see many users use the feature.
I see. All right. Okay, for our photo taking, on the count of 3, 2, 1, smile! Yeah, I think we got it. Thank you so much, judges. All right. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, this event would not be possible without you, our viewers behind your screen. Thank you for tuning in to support us. You know what? It would be great if you could leave us a feedback simply by scanning the QR code on the screen. Very simple. Scan, then do the submit for us. Thank you so much. You can continue to hang out at the networking lounge to meet other attendees till 5 p.m. So do make use of this opportunity to speak to each other. See you next year. My name is Jason. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
See you and thank you, Alibaba.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alibaba, for the sponsorship.
everybody.
My pleasure. Cheers. Have a nice day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.